This Earth, lost in this dark, dense space for millions of years, forever, there is always a fear of some catastrophic event. An event that could completely destroy this planet and all the living beings on it. Or it could be a pandemic, or it could be a major war. There have always been many predictions about the end of the Earth, but none of them have come true so far, and even today, this planet is still alive as it was. But the prediction that is coming forward now hasn't come from any religious books, nor has it been told to people by any prophet. This prediction has been made based on a kind of clock, which is based on the data of events happening all over the world. It predicts the dangers that human civilization may face in the coming times. This clock is called the Doomsday clock. It is believed that whenever the end of human civilization is near, this clock will strike 12 ante meridiem at that time. And once again, this clock is being discussed on the internet and in the news, because this time, only 90 seconds are left for this clock to strike midnight. According to this clock, the end of human civilization is very near. What is it about this clock that it can predict the end of the whole world? Friends, stay with us till the end of this video, because here we are going to understand this news circulating on the internet in complete depth. And we are going to understand what the reality of this doomsday clock is. Predictions about the end of the world have been made many times, but only a few of them are taken seriously by people. In 2012, there was a strange prediction which said that the world would end by December 2012. People took this prediction so seriously that they started to believe their lives would end soon. This prediction was being discussed all over the world, and a movie was also made about this, in which our planet was shown being destroyed. But it's been more than a decade since 2012 and our planet, and we are still alive, but that doesn't mean our Earth is free from all dangers. Once again, the end of the Earth is being discussed. According to this, a great danger is about to come to Earth, and this danger is nuclear war. A nuclear war that will wipe out all humans and this entire planet. The Doomsday Clock was created to predict such a nuclear war. It's not a device or software that predicts nuclear war. There was a time when wars were fought with guns and ammunition. These wars used to take many lives. In the First World War, nearly 20 million people died. This number is very large. But just imagine a war that could wipe out the entire population. Just thinking about it is scary, but in the coming years, something like this could actually happen. The weapons used in the First World War proved to be extremely deadly for many countries and their people. But until then, no such weapon had been made. A weapon that could threaten the entire planet and human civilization. A weapon powerful enough to destroy the whole world at once. From the very beginning of the Second World War, the race to build weapons of mass destruction had begun. In 1945, America was the first to succeed in making a nuclear bomb. It can be so deadly that people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, had already witnessed its effects. But even then, no lesson was learned, and the race to make nuclear weapons continued. During the Cold War, this race reached its peak, where the Soviet Union and America stockpiled a huge number of deadly nuclear weapons. These nuclear weapons were many times more destructive than the nuclear bombs dropped on Japan. Today, there are more than 13,000 nuclear warheads present in the entire world. If even half of these are used, just thinking about what will happen to this planet sends chills down the spine. The same concern that is troubling us today was also troubling a research group called Chicago Atomic Scientists in 1940. The scientists working in this group had already been part of the Manhattan Project. After the events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, these scientists started publishing a magazine called Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. The cover of this magazine used to feature the Doomsday Clock. A designer named Michael Barrett redesigned this clock in 2007. The most interesting thing about it is the 24 o'clock or 12 midnight that strikes on this clock. Experts working for the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists decide how far back from midnight the time on this clock should be set. To decide its time, all the political changes happening around the world are considered. There is an in-depth discussion on nuclear threats, diplomacy, and climate science. Based on all these factors, a decision is made about how likely the end of human civilization is. During this time, nuclear war, bioterrorism, and artificial intelligence are considered the biggest threats to humanity, and an estimate is made about which year humanity is at risk from all these threats. In 1947, when the Doomsday Clock was introduced for the first time, it showed the time as 11:53 post-meridian, which meant the Doomsday scenario was only 7 minutes away. In 1949, the Soviet Union conducted its first nuclear weapon test called RDS, one after which the Soviet Union joined the nuclear weapons race. And at this time, the Doomsday Clock showed the time as 11:57 post-meridian. In 1972, the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, or Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, was signed between the United States and the Soviet Union. After that, the Doomsday Clock moved back a little from midnight, and the time became 11:48 post-meridian. In 1974, India conducted a nuclear test, which was called the Smiling Buddha. After this, the clock's hand reached 11:51 post-meridian. For many decades, this clock has been warning humans about the dangers ahead. In 2023, human civilization came very close to danger. And when there were only 30 seconds left for this clock to strike 12, and the time was 11:58 and 30 seconds. The reason for coming so close to danger was Russia's attack on Ukraine. In 2022, Russia launched an operation with a huge army and deadly weapons to invade Ukraine. And it was believed that this could be the beginning of World War III and a major nuclear threat. By 2023, the war had reached a very dangerous level, and during this time, the possibility of a nuclear war had increased significantly. Has the threat to human civilization now been averted? No, it hasn't. The Doomsday Clock is still only 90 seconds away from midnight. This means that human civilization is still sitting right on the edge of danger. In the coming time, this danger is only going to increase. But what is the reason behind this danger? The very first reason is that the Russia-Ukraine war has not ended yet. Also, there is no peace between Gaza and Israel either. The war had started a few months ago. The threat of nuclear war is not very far away now. Along with nuclear war, there is another threat that humanity has been feeling for some time now, and that is artificial intelligence. This is also a major reason why the Doomsday Clock is so close to midnight. Artificial intelligence has now developed so much that it is very close to becoming a threat to humans. If no steps are taken to reduce this threat, the Doomsday Clock will get even closer to midnight. Now a question must be coming to your mind. What will happen if this clock somehow reaches midnight? To be honest, no one has the exact answer to this, but it is believed that this will mark the beginning of the end of human civilization. In such a situation, there will be a great risk of a major nuclear war over human civilization, or the technological advancements made by us will start posing a threat to us. Because of all these reasons, human civilization will come very close to its end. July 8, 1962, Hawaii. That night, people saw something very strange in the sky. Such phenomena had never been seen in human history before because perhaps these phenomena were man-made. That day, there was a strange tension everywhere. Even on Ambliss Tonight, dazzling group views, likely similar news was spreading everywhere. People knew that today a nuclear blast was going to happen. Time kept moving at its own pace. From around 11 at night, 9 seconds later, a strange flash in the sky lit up the entire area so much that it felt like it had become daytime. The day suddenly turned completely red. America had just detonated a thermonuclear bomb, which was about 100 times more powerful than the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Between the Marshall Islands and Hawaii, there's Johnston Atoll, an unincorporated territory of the United States of America. A missile was launched from here, which took the bomb about 200 miles above the Earth's surface. This altitude is that of low Earth orbit, where today most of our satellites can be found. At 250 miles above, this thermonuclear bomb explodes. This was an American mission called Starfish Prime, but it wasn't the first or last time America or the Soviet Union tested nuclear bombs in space. From 1958 to 1962, more than a dozen such tests had already been conducted, but this time's test was the biggest and most dangerous. Not this blast. Such a huge power surge was generated over the Pacific Ocean that about 300 streetlights on the island were completely destroyed. At that time, about 1/3 of the 24 satellites present in orbit were damaged in a single instant. The Starfish Prime blast set a benchmark for why we shouldn't detonate nuclear bombs in space. Seeing the dangerous consequences of this risky test, about 5 years later in 1967, the United States of America and the Soviet Union signed the Outer Space Treaty, which prevents the testing of nuclear weapons in space, placing nuclear weapons in space, or placing any such weapons in space. Any weapon that poses a threat to humanity that could cause mass destruction in our orbit will not be allowed in space. But today, if a nuclear bomb explodes in space, what effect will it have on our lives and on Earth? Will the entire Earth be destroyed? We will find out in today's video. It's been more than 6 decades since the last nuclear detonation in Earth's orbit. If we take a look at the globe, today all the powerful countries are standing face to face with each other. Conflicts on the ground are continuously increasing, and many countries are at war with each other. Many times tensions rise so much that countries even threaten nuclear war. And it's no secret that in today's world, even some crazy people have nuclear weapons. With just the press of a button by them, the whole world could turn into a battlefield. The United States Department of Defense has warned that Russia might send nukes into space. When the United Nations Security Council put forward a resolution to ban such dangerous weapons, Russia also voted on it. Meanwhile, some United States officials say that there is no such threat at the moment, because currently there are no nuclear weapons present in space. However, they did not rule out the possibilities. What's even more concerning is that today's nuclear weapons are far more destructive than the Starfish Prime of the past. Exactly. If we look at it on Earth, we've studied nuclear explosions in great depth. The catastrophe caused by a nuclear explosion has also been chronologically well documented by us. First of all, after a nuclear explosion, an initial fireball forms which instantly vaporizes everything that comes within its radius. After this, a shockwave comes, which becomes extremely dangerous due to the sudden change in air pressure, and it destroys buildings in a large area and also causes fires. And finally, we get to see the iconic mushroom cloud. After this, radioactive material falls from the atmosphere, which keeps taking human lives from a few minutes to decades. So this is the chronology of a nuclear explosion on Earth. But in space, these explosions are completely different. There is no fireball there, no shockwave, and no mushroom cloud. As soon as it goes into space, a nuclear bomb changes completely. In space, this bomb releases all its power in the form of electromagnetic radiation, which includes deadly gamma rays and X-rays. 3 waves of mass destruction are released from these. The first is a huge flash of radiation. This flash carries so much energy that any satellites coming into its surrounding area are immediately destroyed due to radiation overdose. The second is the electromagnetic pulse, or you can also call it electromagnetic pulse X-rays, which will be released from this explosion and will collide with the Earth's upper atmosphere. Because of the Compton scattering phenomenon, electrons will start getting released from our atmosphere. These electrons, along with other charged particles released from the explosion, will start traveling along the Earth's magnetic field lines. Because of this, we will get to see man-made but spectacular auroras, just like the ones that were seen in Hawaii during Starfish Prime. It depends on the size and altitude of the nuclear explosion, how much destruction the electromagnetic pulse will cause in space and on the ground. These have the power to do anything from damaging some unprotected electronics in space to blacking out the entire Earth. The third and final wave of this explosion will be First, its effect will last the longest, and second, it will prove to be the most dangerous. It won't cause destruction all at once. Instead, it will happen slowly over months or even years. It will create a high radiation zone or a belt in space, and due to its overdose, satellites will start getting damaged very quickly. Near our Earth, there is a Van Allen radiation belt where the radiation reaches dangerous levels. Just understand that this nuclear blast will create an artificial Van Allen radiation belt in space, in which high-speed charged particles will be moving around. Engineers would never want any satellite or spacecraft to even go near that belt. This extra dose of radiation shortens the lifespan of the spacecraft. In 1962, the radiation belt created by the thermonuclear explosion Starfish Prime conducted by America lasted for years. During this time, it also targeted a satellite named Telstar. This satellite was launched just one day after that detonation. The radiation exposure was more than 100 times the normal level, which caused the satellite's operations to cease that same month, and the satellite broke down right there. Today, there are more than 10,000 satellites orbiting our Earth. Some of them are very important and some are extremely expensive. However, most countries keep information about their satellites secret, which makes it very difficult to find out which satellites are currently orbiting in low Earth orbit, can emit radiation on such a large scale or not. The problem is that we can't even estimate at what scale this destruction could happen. They are orbiting in low Earth orbit. Most of the satellites will go offline immediately. This will be an emergency. The whole world will go on high alert. Mobile communication and even satellite communication could stop. Flights won't be able to take off. Thousands of flights will be stuck in the air, just like a high-speed broadband connection. Starlink, which provides the service, has nearly 6,000 satellites in low Earth orbit. If these satellites are damaged, the scale of this disaster will be huge. An economic crisis could occur all over the world. Considering the location and intensity of the blast, astronauts on the International Space Station and China's Tiangong Space Station would be in great danger. The electromagnetic pulse will damage their critical electronic systems, causing their spacecraft to become dead. And they will also be constantly at risk from other satellites that have turned into zombies, as there is a chance they might collide with them. Even if there are no software or hardware problems, our atmosphere will not let them enter. But still, the global tension generated by this orbital blast could trigger a global nuclear war. Right now, no one can say with certainty whether Russia is actually serious about placing weapons in space or not. This could just be a rumor, or it could be a serious secret mission. Here, we're not just talking about Russia, but also about the United States of America and China. We know that all these countries secretly work on a lot of projects. It's just not possible that these countries don't have nuclear weapons to deploy in space. All these countries secretly possess such weapons. They're just lying in wait under the guise of being superpowers. The United States of America says that Russia is secretly planning something like this, while Russia and China keep making such accusations against the United States of America. Ever since Russia announced ending its International Space Station partnership, this threat has increased even more. But humanity is not ready for this yet. We don't want the entire human race to be threatened because of one person's madness. Humanity has already witnessed the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This would be 100 times bigger in scale. But a nuclear explosion in space could wipe us all out. There could hardly be a bigger foolish act than this. Friends, what do you think? Will our space be filled with such nuclear weapons in the future? Or will humans find a sensible solution to this? Be sure to share your opinion with us in the comment section below. Friends, how did you like this video? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it and share it with your friends. For more informative videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification.